Hello, greetings everybody. Welcome here to the Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show. So this is Wednesday night. It's time for an episode of favorites. I decided when I was getting this week's episodes ready that I was going to do a ranking of Bachman Turner Overdrive's albums. I did order the last one that I didn't have, but it never came. So we're gonna do it with we're gonna do the video. Even though it never came, I've listened to it many times. I've listened to it online today again. We're just going to go ahead as if I have it. And when its turn comes up, I will bring it up. So we also are going to include this BTO or this Bachman Turner album, which to me is a BTO album, but it was never given the status as a BTO album because of the court, because they went to court and they weren't allowed to use the Bachman Turner Overdrive label, so they had to just call it Bachman Turner. But to me, it's still a BTO album. So I'm going to include that one. So which will make it a total of 10 studio albums, which is what we're ranking, just the studio albums of BTO, which came out from 1973 through to 1984 was the final one. That one came out later than the others eventually. And we'll talk about each of the albums as I rank them according to how I like them. And we're going to do this the way I always do this, which is my least favorite to my most favorite, or in this case will be because there's 10 albums, will be my 10th to my first. So these are not the definitive BTO rankings. This is not how you have to view them. You can view them however you want. It's all subject to your own interest and your own preferences. So, having said all that, we're going to get right now to the albums, and I will talk about each album as we go along, especially some of the later albums. I will, because some people were under the impression, and I have a few people that I know like this, that BTO was the same group of guys the whole way through. That clearly hasn't happened, so I will talk about it as we go along. So the number 10 album for me is going to be the Bachman Turner album that doesn't have the Overdrive or the BTO label to it. It's a good solid album, and I will say that right up front that all 10 of their albums are good. Some are obviously better than others, but there's no bad ones. I like them all. This one I like the least. I don't find it as much BTO sounding as some of their other stuff. They've mixed a little bit of other stuff in here. Not a lot of other stuff, but a little bit. And it's not, I don't think this is as heavy an album as I would generally say the rest of the BTO album collection is. Of course, this featured Randy and C.F. Turner on it. And then they had their own musicians doing the backup parts or the other parts, rhythm, guitar, and all that other stuff that went on. This is, like I said, it's a good album. I don't think it's a great album. Maybe if the other members had been involved with it, or if they could have used the BTO label, maybe it might have been different. Hard to say. This one was much later in their discography, and that's why it's not even considered part of the BTO stuff. But I like it as a BTO album, so I'm putting it here at number 10. Next up are the two Jim Clench albums, I call them. So after Randy Bachman departed the band, they went out and they signed former April Wine bassist and vocalist Jim Clench, came in to take Randy's spot. Also continued to play bass, which meant that they would have to do something with CF, and he moved and took over the rhythm guitar part of the album, and Blair Thornton took over the lead parts. Not that Blair didn't do leads on the other BTO stuff, he did, but now he was doing all of the leads because there was only the one lead guitarist. So the two albums that came with that are called Rock and Roll Nights, which is the one you see here, and the other one is Street Actions, the other one you see here. Both kind of having a bit of a sexual content to their album covers, not something that BTO had done on any of their previous albums. So a little bit of a difference there because of that. And of course, my opinion of Jim Clench is that for those of you who maybe don't know any of his volume of work, he sang with April Wine, and he sang the song "Ooh What a Night." That is the entry point for those of you who maybe don't know who he is. So his voice is not totally dissimilar from Randy Bachman's. I mean, you can tell them apart. They don't sound alike. It's easy enough to tell the two apart, but they both are in the same range. They both have the same style. They both have that little high part that's almost bordering on nasally, more so with Randy than Jim, but both a little bit of that going on. So anyways, my number 9 album, if we're getting into that now, is going to be Rock and Roll Nights. This one's a little bit more poppy than Street Action, not quite as heavy. There are some good songs on this. Heaven Tonight, I like that one. The last track, Amelia Earhart, is pretty strong too. And the title track, Rock and Roll Nights, with Clench on vocals, really strong. I think all those are pretty strong. But overall, the feel on the album is... sorry. The feel on this album is kind of poppier, because this album came out in 1979, so they're moving into those 1980s when pop and commercial sounding started to dominate. So maybe a better description of this album is that it's more commercial sounding hard rock, although it does have a kind of a poppy flavor to it as well. So that's going to be my number 8. Sorry, where am I? That's my number 9. My number 8 is the album that I wasn't able to get today, which is... It didn't come in time. I ordered it, but it hasn't come in time. And I've owned this before. I've not owned it, but I've listened to it before. The BTO self-titled album, which is, they have 2 like that. They have their first one, their debut album, and then this one, which is actually their last album. Most people refer to it as BTO 84. Solid album. Some good stuff on it. Actually, kind of a rocker, a little bit more of a rocker than Rock and Roll Nights. Sorry, I'm drawing a blank there for a sec. Got some good stuff on here for the weekend. Opening track, I think this is pretty strong. This album also has because this album was released in '84, the band was getting back together for this album, and there was a dispute between Rob and Randy over the guitar player. Randy wanted to bring Tim back into the fold, Tim Bachman back into the band, and Rob wanted to go with Blair Thornton, who had played on the 4 middle albums, I guess, if you want to call them. When Randy was with the band before, and it ended up with Tim being the guy chosen, so Rob decided not to play on the album, and they had to go and get Gary Peterson, who played drums on this album as well. So it's a pretty strong BTO album. I thought it definitely has that BTO sound. A little bit, maybe not as heavy as some of their earlier stuff, but definitely a good, solid album, and it's my pick here for number 8. So number 7, we're going to drop down to Street Action. This is the other album on this 2-4 collection. You'll see it right there. This is another good album. Definitely strong. It's actually, I think, heavier than either of the previous 3 that we've ranked, like the 10th, 9th, and 8th one. This is number 7, a little heavier than those 3 albums. Has a good, strong BTO sound to it. Strong song Street Action is good. Down the Road is good. The World is Waiting for Love song. No, definitely not one of my favorites on the album. For Love is the other good one that I really like. Just really strong, heavy BTO stuff, which is what I like. Surprisingly stronger than I thought it was going to be. And so that's Street Action. That will be my number 7. This album, for those of you who like to keep track of this type of stuff, was released in 1978. Okay, now we're down to the top 6 now. So this might surprise a few people. This is my number 6, Bachman Turner Overdrive 2, their second album, released in 1973. The last one featuring Tim Bachman initially, his first run through, and then he wasn't doing very good on the touring circuit. He was having problems with it, so they replaced him after this album. But he was on this album. He sings the song "Blown," which is the opening track here, one of the stronger tracks on the album. Stone Gates is a strong track as well. The rest of the songs, Welcome Home, Give It Time, Tramp, I Don't Have to Hide, are decent tracks, but obviously the reason this album did so successful is the two big hits on it, Let It Ride and Taking Care of Business, which is their signature song. Now, I'm not as big a fan of Taking Care of Business. I think it's overplayed, played too much, but it's still a solid track. Let It Ride is, for me, the big track on this album, and the reason why it comes ahead of the other three albums is because that song is stronger than anything on any of the albums, on any of those first four that were ranked here. So this will be my number 6 album. Next up, I have the other 2-4 collection album. I wasn't able to get these individually, which has both Bachman Turner Overdrive Freeways and also has the album Head On. This is not the original cover for Head On. The original one has all 4 of them. It's divided, and then you get a picture of each of them, and I'll show it to you after when we get to it. So the number 5 album for me is going to be Freeways. I did own this originally on vinyl. It was the last BTO album I bought on vinyl and was part of my vinyl collection before I left home, which I'm not going to get into that story because most people already know it. So Freeways has a couple of really strong songs on it. Actually, not totally dissimilar from BTO 2, which has those 2 big hits and then a bunch of decent, from good to decent songs on it. This one's kind of the same way. You got Shotgun Rider and Down Down, which are my 2 favorite tracks on this album, both sung by Randy. Really strong songs to me. Shotgun Rider especially really good, but I like Down Down a lot as well. And then there's a bunch of stuff on here. The song Freeways, My Wheels Won't Turn, Just For You, Can't We All Come Together. These are all pretty strong songs as well, making this album strong enough for me to kind of get this 5th spot here. The other thing about this album, it is a lot more commercial sounding than its predecessor, and it is not quite as heavy as a lot of their earlier stuff, but I still think it's a good album. This came out in 1977. So my number 4, we're going to with the other album. So this is the Freeways album cover, in case I didn't show that. Now the other album that's going to come number 4 is this one, Head On, and I will take it out so I can show you what the original cover really actually looks like. If I can find it here. I think it was this. I think this was it, if I remember correctly. This is a picture of all 4 of them. Same kind of thing is going on here, but get all 4 of them instead. So this is a heavier album, like probably their last heavy album before Randy left. So he left after Freeways. This is a strong album, generally considered to have their last really big hits on it. The other albums didn't really have any of those kind of big hits on them. This one has Take It Like a Man and Looking Out for Number 1. Now, Looking Out for Number 1, for most of you who know BTO, sorry, I'm holding the wrong one, album up here. For those of you who are familiar with BTO, you know that Looking Out for Number 1 is kind of a jazzy bit. It did well, though. It actually made the hit charts and did very well. Strong song. I do like it. Take It Like a Man was the heavier hit, the C.F. Turner vocal song. But there's other really good stuff on here, too. Finding Out About Love. It's Over. It's Over is really good. Another Blair Thornton, C.F. Turner vocal song. Really good. Average Man is good. Wild Spirit, another great heavier song too. Yeah, so that's going to put this, sorry, that's going to put this album at number 4. So next up we have, these are the best 3, and they're easily, it's easy to put them in their order. The number 1 is fantastic. It's a masterpiece. Number 2 is really close to that, but not quite there. And then the third one is stronger than all the other stuff easily. So my number 3 is going to be BTO's debut album, also known as Brave Belt. I think it's Brave Belt 2 and Brave Belt 3. I don't know why they call it, but I get it though, because all the people that were in Brave Belt are also on this album. They just changed it from Brave Belt 2 to Bachman Turner Overdrive. So we got 8 tracks on this album. Solid album. This one came out in '73. This is their debut album, and most people, this is where this thing took off. So up until this point, they were known as Bachman Turner Overdrive, and then as soon as this came, they started calling them BTO, and they now call them both, really. This has a lot of fairly strong songs on it. No really huge, big kind of monster hit, though. But all the songs from top to bottom are strong, in my opinion. Thanks for the Feeling. The last track's kind of the weakest track on it, but still very strong. Blue Collar is got that kind of jazzy flavor that you got on Looking Out for number 1, really strong. Some of the other songs that I really like on this, I'm a Down and Out Man, really good. Stay Awake All Night, this is kind of the heavy track of the album. Probably I think I would have put this as my opening track myself if I was putting the album together. Just a fantastic heavy song, bombastic in all the ways that you want it. Lots of catchy hooks. Little Gandy Dancer has always been one of my kind of favorites on this album. And then probably my favorite tune on the album is Hold Back the Water. Kind of reminds me of the song Down Down, which is on Freeways, but this one's a little bit heavier, I think, than that one. It's so good. And then it opens up with Gimme Your Money Please, another kind of heavy track as well. So this would be my number 3 album. Number 2 is going to be Four Wheel Drive. I don't think this will come as a surprise. It's another 75 release. The first one in 75 Head On was the second one. They're both pretty heavy albums. A lot of the tracks from this were leftovers from my number 1 album, which we'll get to. Pretty strong album, though. Has the first BTO track on it that I ever heard, which is Quick Change Artist. This is really kind of a really catchy song. Lots of hooks here. I love this song. One of my favorite BTO songs. Lowland Fling is good. Don't Let the Blues Get You Down. Another really kind of bluesy, heavy track that I like. Flat Broke Love, pretty heavy. And then it has the big hit, the hit for this album anyways, which is Hey You, one of their big hits. Really great song. It's kind of more mainstream sounding, but really heavy at the same time. She's a Devil, that's another really strong, kind of beefy song. And then the opening track, Four Wheel Drive, which is got that great guitar riff right opening, which permeates this whole album and some of their other albums too. So this is my number 2. Number 1 was never going to be in a doubt. I don't think anybody was going to doubt this. It's going to be Not Fragile. Kind of the pseudonym kind of it's kind of a, so Yes came out with Fragile, so they came out with Not Fragile. This kind of, and then they put all of this Metal Gears in a box just to make sure that we got that. Yeah, this is a strong album. 9 tracks in all, from top to bottom. Easily their strongest album. It's got some of their biggest hits and some of my favorite songs. It starts out with the really beefy kind of monster catchy hit, Not Fragile, which is just absolutely killer monster song. Rock Is My Life and This Is My Song. I would argue that this is probably my favorite BTO song. Rock Is My Life and This Is My Song. I've been singing this for decades. I love it. It's a perfect, kind of encapsulates how I feel a lot of rock music in general, but just a great tune. You got Roll On Down the Highway, another kind of bigger hit for them. And then you have maybe arguably their biggest, well, it's their biggest selling hit and their only number one, You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet. This is the one where they get the stutter going, which is it's a fantastic tune. It's just, can't say enough about it. It's one of their most memorable, most well-known songs. Then you have the backside of this album, which, you have Freewheelin', which is at the bottom of that first side, which is probably the weakest track on the album, but still not bad. The other side, you go back to that Sledgehammer with another, like Not Fragile, really beefy, heavy C.F. Turner vocal song, great. Blue Moanin' is great. Secondhand, I always kind of like this. It's kind of got that whiny guitar sound to it, which is really good. And then Giving It All Away ends off. So you've got, from top to bottom, the strongest BTO album, Bachman Turner Overdrive. This was released in 1973 as well. It says 73, but I always thought this was 74. Yeah. It says 73, though. I don't know. That's weird. Well, this is 73. And their other BTO 2 is also 73. So there's no way they did 3. This has got to be 74. Or, yeah, I think this is 74. There's a typo here, I guess. Yeah, I thought I was losing my mind there for a minute. But anyways, that's my top 10 BTO albums in the order that I like them. I'll give them to you back now from top to bottom. BTO's Not Fragile, number 1. Four Wheel Drive, number 2. Their debut album, number 3. And then you have Head On, number 4. Number 5 is Freeways. Number 6 is BTO 2. Number 7 is Street Action, which is this one. Number 8 is going to be their 84 album, which I don't own, but have listened to many times. Number 9 is going to be Rock and Roll Nights, this one. And last, the Bachman Turner album, which I think of as a BTO album. That's going to be my number 10. So that's my ranking of the BTO discography. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please hit the like and subscribe. If you want to, you can make any comments about anything I've said. I'm sure I didn't get it perfect, but I did my best. If you want, you can put down your own ranking. You can rank the albums how you want. We like to see that. I like to see how people view these albums. Always learn something from people when they talk about them, or it always amazes me how different we view stuff as well. So anyways, I hope you've enjoyed that. Please hit the like and subscribe, and we will see you next Wednesday for another episode of Favorites. Take care and have a good night.